Hey everyone, I'm Danny and welcome to Wizardry Workshop. In this video, we're going to be making a Borgin and Burkes catalog, and I've done this in the past, like this one. This is the first one I did, and this is the complete replica of the one that me and Alima designed. And then I did another one, which is very similar, as you can see. And this one was Tom Riddle's copy when he worked at Borgin and Burkes. It says 1961 on there. And we've got Tom Riddle's notes on the inside. These two are very similar. For this one, I just really wanted to take the design that me and Alima did for the prop, use that as inspiration, and kind of make my own version of it. So that's what I did in this video, and that's what we're gonna be making. Before we get into the DIY though, it's time for our very first featured patron project. So these projects come from one of my patrons named Mia. As you can see, she's done a Birdie Bots display box, which is awesome. I want to make one of those. She also did a Quibbler display, which is equally awesome. Apparently she and her husband designed an escape room game for each year for their magical themed Halloween party. So that's what the props are for. She posts updates on Instagram. You can find her at A House of Little Tomato. I'll link Mia's Instagram below as well as her link tree, so I hope you guys go and check her out. Also check out the description box for links to all the supplies I used to make this project, as well as the free downloadable templates, and let's get started. So first you need to print the templates, of course. This is on 11 by 17 paper. If you don't have a printer that can do that, you can have things like this printed, just a single one. I doubt you could go and ask for like 20 of them. But if you're just printing a single one, you can go and have this done at like Staples or something. They do it on 11 by 17, which is also tabloid size. The very first page is the front cover, and it is printed on a cardstock. And then all the interior pages are printed on regular paper. This is extremely easy to put together, but I have a new technique that I'm going to try that I think might make it look a little bit cooler than just stapling it. So if you're going to staple them, you can use a long reach stapler. Get the setting right at about 8.5 because, you know, this is 17 inches wide, so 8.5 would be the center. Put a staple here, put a staple there, fold the pages over, and then cut off the white space and you're done. But like I said, I have a different technique I want to try this time. So line up your pages, hold them together, and fold them completely in half. And make sure that they're nice and flush with each other when you do this. I just kind of like bend mine a little bit like this and don't like actually push down the fold very much until I'm sure that it's pretty centered and the pages are pretty flush with each other. Then you can go in with something like this. This is a bone folding tool, and just fold the pages. And that'll give them a nice crease there in the middle. I'm gonna take a paper clamp, or you could use more than one, but I think one's probably gonna be enough just to keep the pages together. You can do this on either side. You could use this side or this side. It really doesn't matter. But I'm gonna do it on the inside because I wanna try and make sure that most of the words aren't like covered up when I do this. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. Now what you're going to need is an awl. This is used for bookbinding, or you can also use a Cricut tool. We are going to make a puncture in this at every inch. So inch 1, we put a puncture, 2, and just keep going. Make sure you're getting it right in the center where that crease is that you made. And then once you have those smaller holes in there that you just made, you definitely want to push this through and make that hole just a little bit bigger. And then just keep widening each one of these holes all the way down. So now there are holes all the way down the center. And now we can use some twine or jute cord. When I'm doing potions and stuff, I'll wrap the top of the bottle in this. Many people do that. So it's good to just have this around anyway. We need to use enough of this that it will go all the way across the spine here, and then also some extra on either side like this. So I'll just cut mine right there. At one end, we are going to make a little loop knot like this, and we're actually going to double that up just to make sure it doesn't come through the holes that we punctured. There are basically two techniques we can use here. Number one, I'm just going to use this twist tie. I'm just going to take the twist tie and fold it over on itself like this. Then I'm just going to push that part of the twist tie through, just like this. And then if I take the jute cord, I can push it through that twist tie and then use the twist tie to pull the cord through the hole. And then from there, the end you want to go all the way through, which is the end that doesn't have the knot on it, you pull that through and hold on to the other side. You pull it all the way in, and there's the knot preventing it from going any further through the paper. Number two, you can get yourself some of these really big, thick needles. These are for book binding, for like leather binding and stuff too. I'm just gonna thread the needle with the jute cord, and you don't even need to tie the other end, and then from there it's just the same idea. We're gonna sew the book together. So it's in through the back to the next hole and then out, and then we're just going to alternate back and forth, weaving in and out of the book until it's all done. And as you're doing this, don't pull it too tight because you don't want to accidentally rip the paper. You don't want it to be too loose, and you don't want it to be too tight. So you might have to just sort of experiment with it a little bit as you go. And if you did the right amount of holes, like I showed you to every inch, then this last one should go toward the outside of the book. You can take that big needle off of there if you used one. Do another double knot here, but you want to make sure that it's right up against the paper. So make your loop, and then I like to hold my finger on it and pull until it's nice and tight right up against the paper. One more to make a double knot. We can take this clamp off the paper, trim the excess down, but I'm going to leave some kind of there, maybe about that much right there on both sides. And now we're going to do our trimming, but as you can see, there are some lines out here, and these are the cut guides. So this is what you want to line up your ruler with. I'm going to do this outside edge here first. So if I line up my ruler with the black marks, I can take my X-Acto knife and use that to cut. You can also use a paper cutter if you'd like. The reason I'm not is because I'm not actually going to cut all the way from edge, like I'm not going to cut this whole part off, because then I lose the other cut guides. So what I'm going to do is just cut just to the edge almost, like maybe about a 1/4 inch in from the edges. So when you look at it, this is what you have. So you've got your cut all the way where it needs to be, but you saved these cut guides. Line up with the other cut guides and just go ahead and cut from there. And this time we want to cut the whole thing off. And once we do that, the first part that we cut is also cut off in the same process, and we are left with this. As for these little ends here, you can kind of untwist them so they're a little bit loose, like that. And then if you want to, you can take some fire and just sort of really just lightly burn them, and it just gives them a little bit more of an aged look. You can do that on these as well. But if you are going to do that part, and you are not an adult, you might want to have an adult with you to help. And that's it. I just thought it would be fun, instead of using staples on this one, to do something a little bit different. And I thought this would make it look a little more old, I guess. So this is done now. So let's go ahead and take a look at the inside of this. I tried to keep the layout pretty close to what Mina Lima did, but I decided to just do my own thing with the fonts and the design and the layout and stuff. But if you compare this to their prop that they made, it's similar, but definitely different. So let me know what you guys think of this. There's a lot of creepy old items in here that you might find at Borgin and Burkes. I handpicked all of these, and most of them are things that are real stuff from like history, or cursed items that are in like urban legends and stuff like that. Yeah. And there we go. That is the book. And here it is, just side by side with the Mina Lima design. You can tell it's different, but similar. I tried to make it different, but with the same feel. So I hope you guys like the design. Let me know what you guys think. I think I might start doing this every once in a while, because I did jack-o'-lantern juice based off of pumpkin juice, and now I've done this brand new design for the Borgin and Burkes catalog based off of this design. So this might be something that I just keep doing. If you like when I sort of take something that exists and do my own thing with it, let me know, because I have a lot of fun doing that and I'd love to keep posting these. Anyways, if you've made it all the way to the end of the video with me, you're a Wizard Harry. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this project, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe while you're down there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.